Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to PhotoBiz Live. This is Joanne from the PhotoBiz team, and today we're joined by Kristi for a webinar about building the perfect splash intro page. A splash intro page is the perfect way to direct your viewers through your online presence with ease. In this webinar, we'll learn more about how a splash intro can help direct the traffic on your website. In addition to getting the opportunity to learn with Kristi in today's webinar, we'll also have a question and answer session at the end of the webinar. You can submit your questions using the chat tool, and they'll be answered after the presentation. You can also join in the discussion on Twitter by using the hashtag #PhotobizLive. If at any point during today's webinar you have any difficulty hearing the speaker or seeing the slides, please use the comment box and let us know. We'll also be recording this webinar, and it'll be available for replay on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/photobiz. With that being said, I'll turn things over to Kristi.
Hi, my name is Kristi, and I just wanted to thank everyone who's out there for listening into my webinar. Today I'm basically just going to be going over perfecting your splash intro page. So I think that we should start off by going over just exactly what you're going to learn today in today's webinar. So here are some key points. The first one is basically what is a splash intro page. So I'll go into a little bit more detail, just what is a splash intro page, who a splash intro page is for. I'm sure some of you guys are out there wondering if a splash intro page is for you or not. I'm sure you're also wondering, if I do add a splash intro page, why would it be beneficial to me? And after that, you know, it's very important to know not only how to make a splash intro page, but what makes a great splash intro page. So what is this webinar all about? And I'm sure you're wanting to know what a splash intro page is. These are all great questions, and I will soon answer all of them or any other questions that you may have. So let's just get started by going over just what exactly is a splash intro page. So the thing to realize is that splash intro pages are simply a landing page. And what I mean by this is that it will be the first glimpse of your website that your clients will see or your online viewers will see. The whole purpose of the splash intro page is not only to be that landing page, but it's also to help those who are viewing your website or your splash intro page to help them navigate your website, and most importantly, to direct them what aspect of your online presence is most beneficial to them. So you really want to drive your clients to the area that they're looking for. All in all, I think that you can think of the splash intro page as a welcome mat to your home. So at first glimpse, so this is obviously my splash intro page. So at first glimpse, when I take a look at the splash intro page, and not just because it's mine, but I see a very unified layout that has done a well job of staying consistent in color and branding. You see that yellow color kind of go throughout the whole splash intro page. Something else that I see worth mentioning is that I immediately start to navigate the splash intro page. Let's break it down even further. My eyes naturally guide me left to right, since that's how I read. So the first thing that I see is this intro link for my pretend portfolio site. Since I am now a magic photographer for this webinar, my portfolio is simply the most important thing that I want my viewers to be guided to. So I put it on the left, since that's what I read first. So as you continue to study and look over the page, you'll notice that I have my second business, which would be my design business, right there in the middle, but it's second next to photography. Thirdly, you will notice my blog. All in all, I would say that these three aspects are very important to my success. So I have decided to put them on my splash intro page. The last thing that you will notice is my footer section, which is where I decided to do some deep linking, which I will go over more in depth later. But I have made my footer section navigable for quick access so that my viewers will be able to go straight to different sections of my website, as well as some helpful contact information to get straight to the point. So overall, that's pretty straightforward. So there's my first link for my photography. There's my second link for design. There's my third link for my blog. This would be my footer section. So who does a splash intro page work best for? So I'll break it down into sections or these notes. For the most part, splash intro pages work great for everybody, but not everyone needs one. So let's move forward and talk about who splash intro pages work best for. So the biggest category that I see that people fall into are simply those who own multiple businesses or those who have different aspects to their one business. A splash intro page can be thought of like a map. We already know it's going to help people navigate to the most appropriate page for them, but a splash intro page will now lay out visually a blueprint of your business or businesses. So think of it like a blueprint. And now if we think back to my splash intro page that I showed you earlier, you will now see that I display the two aspects of my business very definitively and very clearly. Now photography and design may not need to be separated, but can work cohesively together without a splash intro page. But what if instead you say I did newborn photography as well as boudoir photography? I wouldn't want any of the new parents stumbling into my boudoir galleries or vice versa. So it's nice to try to keep these two categories separated for the ease of my clients' minds. Another category that people fall in is people who have a large website with lots of portfolios and information. Those who have a website that may not be the easiest to navigate. And let's face it, I mean, I know I have. I'm sure we all have visited websites that we have gotten lost on. Thinking back to those confusing websites, would it have not been easier if that website or splash intro page would have had one of those nifty footer sections that I pointed out to you earlier? We're still not going to talk about that footer section quite yet, but I have utilized it to lay out the most important parts of the website. I'm not saying that any part of your website isn't important, but sometimes people just want to get into contact with you or learn a little bit more about you and your business. So let's just make it easy for those people. So I have one more category that can kind of be broken down into 3 descriptive sentences. I grouped these 3 together because all 3 are describing people who simply want to add on to their website instead of strictly using it as a map or as a blueprint to map out their website. All 3 descriptive sentences go hand in hand as well. Wanting to add on a little something to your website by adding a splash intro page instead of adding it for strict navigable purposes is okay, but we still need to be careful of how we map out our splash intro page. So there are people who are looking, and I guess these are the descriptive sentences. So number 1, there are people out there that are looking to add on more professionalism to their site, but simply don't know how to. Well, a splash intro page can achieve this by adding an element to their website, which clients view first. Focusing on clean design and branding can easily achieve a professional look. If you utilize this on your splash intro page while still laying out your online presence, it really sets the tone for the rest of the website. So this category really goes hand in hand with the next 2 categories. The second of which is really about those who want to make the branding straightforward and easy to see for their website. So maybe you just want to throw your business out there and give your logo and branding a chance to shine. A splash intro page is a great way to do that, but keeping your branding consistent into your interlinks is so important if you want to set the mood for your website. If you keep it engaging or even just consistent, you can draw people into your website. The third sentence is about those who are trying to add on a little bit more, which is kind of like category 2. But whether this is adding a blueprint per se to help clients navigate your website, or simply introducing those what is to come. When viewers enter your website, you really want to set the tone for your website to keep people on your page because that's how you get business. So when I think of those 3 categories that I just mentioned, I immediately think of Hiram Trio, and for those who haven't seen his splash intro page, let's go ahead and take a look at it since I think that it perfectly fits all 3 subcategories. So Hiram does a beautiful job of not only setting the tone for his website to come, branding more deeply for his website, but also letting his viewers know more about his photography with his footer section, which you can see right underneath of the video. Overall, he takes a different approach to the traditional splash intro page, and he made it actively engaging with a video. So don't think that you have to stick to a traditional splash intro page to make it successful. Sometimes you can think outside of the box to make it successful as well. The next step after learning who this is for would now be to learn why a splash intro page is beneficial to me. So a splash intro page can help you if you utilize it correctly. If you take any of the two main aspects or all of the three basic ideas that I just mentioned, you will be able to benefit from your splash intro page. So as many of you know, I work on the passionate support team, and every now and then I hear people calling in regards to the splash intro page. Some of them ask more about the misconception that splash intro pages are bad for your SEO. And as you heard it, I described it as a misconception. Now, adding a splash intro page will not hurt your SEO, but it only has the potential to help your SEO if you use it right. The splash intro page is built off of HTML, and because of this, any text will become highly searchable and has the potential to help you rise in rankings. This is a great feature. So think back to when I had mentioned deep linking before. Well, now we get to talk about it, and I'll even show you how to do it. So what is deep linking? Well, it's that footer section that I just pointed out, and of course what I keep talking about. If you look at my splash intro page, you will see that I've created 2 rows in my footer. The first row is where I deep link words to what I consider the most important pages on my website. I have linked those words to the appropriate corresponding page. This act of linking deeper or linking to deeper pages on your website is called deep linking. By doing so, you're helping Google to establish pages to crawl, therefore helping Google index your splash intro page. Now you will notice that the second line is my contact information, which I have placed on my splash intro page to make it easier for my clients to find. This is a benefit all in its own. Some people go to your website simply to reach out for contact. So why not make it easy for them? A lot of people are on the go and don't have time to look around your website, so why not put it right in front? Another benefit of putting your location and your contact information is to let viewers know exactly where you are located. So in Hiram's case, clients will know where he has been. He is an international wedding photographer. Another aspect he uses is the opportunity to tell you what he does and a little bit more about him. Now this has also helped him with SEO because he has thrown in some SEO keywords. You will notice that he has clearly stated that he is an international wedding photographer. If you do have the time and you have a chance to Google that, you will notice that he does get pulled up on the front page. That's really great for using a small keyword such as international wedding photographer. That's a non-specific and very broad SEO keyword, so that's quite successful. With smart decisions in time, your splash intro page can benefit how people search for your business. Also, don't forget that you have access to the passionate support team and are able to schedule a free SEO consultation. No one knows PhotoBiz products quite like us. What are some other benefits of having a splash intro page? We have all heard it before. Splash intro pages help greatly with setting the tone for your website to come. It's the chance to not only hook viewers and to stay on your website and click around, but now it engages your viewers to choose directly where they want to go. This helps your online presence greatly, especially if you have a blog and use it. You can utilize your splash intro page into driving people to your blog instead of clicking them around on your website to find it. Within seconds of viewing your splash intro page, your viewers should already gain a sense of what your business does or what kind of photography you do. With Snap Happy splash intro page, which is the one that you see right now, my first impression was that it's a very calm but very contemporary photography business. It was quick to see that they specialize in weddings and portraits. Not only is the splash intro page clean, but it's very easy to navigate and I think that it sets the tone for what I want to look for later on their website. So the next thing to learn is what makes up a splash intro page. The most important thing to do first is just to go over the terminology so that when I'm showing and talking about how to build a splash intro page, you can kind of feel like a guru too. The first thing is quite simple. It's your logo. And your logo is how your company is branded. It is simple to show this off on your splash intro page. The next big piece of verbiage are your interlinks. Now your interlinks are clickable fields on your splash intro page that can be linked to another page. The next section is the footer section, and this is the HTML field on your background or on your website that you are able to paste custom HTML code into. Lastly, and not so apparent, is the background, which you can choose from one of PhotoBiz's that we can provide for you, or you can upload your own custom background as well. So now that we know the terminology, let's just get into more detail about what exactly makes up a splash intro page. Now, you want them to be easy to navigate, but I see that there's a consistent pattern that shows up on a lot of successful splash intro pages. From what I've seen mixed in with what I know, great interlinks display a delightful combination of 3 distinctive elements. So the first one would be some sort of photo that you feel represents your interlink best. The second one would be a part of a design element that will flow and help keep your branding consistent, whether it's through color, shape, or something else. Lastly, titles to these interlinks in the form of words in a font that matches your logo best, even if it's in the same font. So you do have the option to kind of caption these interlinks on PhotoBiz, but if you're creating these interlinks on your own, you might as well throw in the caption on those images. So as we are beginning to create our splash intro page, we will need to figure out the look and feel for what we are going for, or feels that best represents the branding of your company. Some ideas start to come into play, so let's go ahead and start to brainstorm off of these things. Here are some questions just to get you started brainstorming. Are there certain colors that go with your branding or logo? What is the message that you are trying to convey? Is there a tone that best represents the type of business or type of photographs you take? Is there a font that you use consistently? I think that once you are able to brainstorm a little bit more or are able to answer these questions, you'll be able to build your splash intro page with little work. So I say let's start building your page with a background. Once you have signed into your account and have selected either your Flash HTML product or your HTML5 product, both of which have splash intro pages, we will need to now select the splash intro page icon, which you will see in the row of icons. Here, we will want to navigate the background tab, or to the background tab. Now, I chose to select a background first because you can do one of 3 things and possibly even more. You can choose a background from one of the backgrounds we provide for you, but you can even take it a step further. You can upload your own background, and that will give your site kind of like a more custom feel, which I think a lot of photographers lean towards. Now, if you are doing that, we do have a recommended size for these images. We do recommend uploading them at 3,000 pixels wide by 1730 pixels high at 72 dpi. They can either be in a JPEG or a PNG format. You can, of course, choose to have something smaller if you plan on tiling it. The third option would be if you would like for your logo to be bigger, I guess. This option takes a little bit more practice and work as it's kind of more of a trial and error type deal. You can incorporate your logo or branding straight onto or layered into your background. You can do this in Photoshop, and then of course merge all layers and upload your background as a PNG format. This plays quite useful, especially if your logo has more detail in it. Again, we suggest uploading at 3000 pixels wide by 1730 pixels high at 72 dpi. A fourth option would be to select no background and choose a solid color in the Details tab, which I will go over in just a couple of slides. You'll see here that now you've got the option. These are your background image settings. You're going to be able to choose a variety of which. If you upload your own and you uploaded it to those dimensions that I did give you, you will want to choose scale to fit, basically because this means that your image will fit to your screen while maintaining image proportions. Whereas if you stretch to fit, if it's a little bit smaller, it will skew a couple things. If it's smaller, you would want to choose that first option, tile, especially if you have a pattern. So going back to what I was talking about before, if you choose the second or third options, you will have these options after you upload that background. Like I was saying, if you have a smaller tileable background image, I would suggest tiling your background image. This is pretty much all that's there for uploading backgrounds. So it's quite simple. Now, if you created the background and you decide to go with one of our backgrounds, or you uploaded a background without your logo on it, you will now need to upload your logo. And you can do this by navigating to the tab to the right of the background labeled Logo. In regards to uploading your logo, you will have two options. You can upload it as a JPEG or upload it as a PNG, or of course you can upload it as a JPEG in its original format. So maybe, or I'm sorry, I said that backwards. You can upload it as a JPEG or you can upload it as a PNG or JPEG in its original format. So maybe you have a logo that you don't know how to resize. And that's pretty easy. Just upload it under the first option, which will auto size the logo. If you have taken the time and know how to resize your logo, you should select original format. Now, as mentioned, you will be able or have the ability to upload a PNG file. For those who don't know what a PNG file is, PNG file can save transparency, which basically means that if you don't want a white box or some type of bounding box around your logo, it's best to save it as a PNG. That way you don't have that around your logo. Now, the maximum dimensions for that custom logo are going to be 1000 pixels wide by 150 pixels high. Of course, you don't have to make your logo that big, but that's the maximum dimensions. Once uploaded, you will have the option, or you will have the choice to align your logo left, center, or right. If you want to learn how to save files as a transparency, you can always call into the passionate support team and we can walk you through that as well. So after your logo, it would be time to upload your intro links. There should be 2 to 3, sometimes more interlinks. I would say that there should be a minimum of 2. I would probably say 3, but no more than 5. It doesn't matter if it's part of your PhotoBiz account or not. If it's included on your online presence, such as a third-party blog, you should add it as an interlink. If you have a URL or a web address, you're going to be able to create this interlink. So basically, when you add an interlink, you're adding a file that you decide. You'll have the power to title it if you didn't do so when you built it, and you can also link it out to another web address. The first step is to select Create Interlink. You will be brought to a new page where you will be able to upload the interlink you wish. As you can see, when I created my interlink, I already titled, so there's no need to put a title on this interlink. Again, you can upload in a JPEG form or upload it as PNG or JPEG in its original format. The maximum dimensions would be 700 pixels wide by 500 pixels high at 72 dpi. You can now save changes. Always remember to save your changes. You can now select interlinks. From the top of the page you should now select the interlinks from the top of your page to navigate back to your home screen for the interlinks, which is you would see on the right of this screen that you see right now. If you need to delete, or especially if you want to add another one or rearrange the ones that you have, this can be done easily by clicking and dragging. If you need to delete an interlink, you can do so by selecting the interlink you wish to delete. Hold down the mouse button. While holding that down, you will need to drag to where it says drop here to delete. Once you are hovering over this, release your mouse and your interlink should be deleted. We will now navigate to the Details tab to put on the final touches. Most importantly, you will now want to activate your splash intro page by moving the button to yes. If by chance you didn't want any sort of background and simply wanted a solid color, that's not a problem. We can do so right there. If you choose this, you should of course have chosen no background under the backgrounds tab. If you happen to know the hex code for the color you wish for your background to be, you can type it in now. Or, of course, you can select that black or white box and pick out a color of your own by dragging to that. Most people here leave the header section empty because it is voided out by the use of a logo. Meaning if you have a logo, it will take place of your header. If there is no logo and you have text in your header section, it will show up if left visible. Now on to the footer section. Here is a field where you can input any special type of HTML code you're wanting to do. Now, as we have already gone over deep linking, or I'm about to go over deep linking, I'll show you how to add those links now. Okay, so how do I deep link? So basically, adding these deep linking is going to be a little bit of a process, so you may have to watch this video again or take good notes now. So the deep linking actually goes into that footer section. You'll be able to see it down below. You'll see that there's a bit of code right there. So basically, I inputted that code into my footer section. We'll take a closer look at it here. So basically, you would type out this exact code. Here I've chosen it to say visit Facebook, which you'll see before I close off my script. And then you'll also see that I've put that link in there a little bit better. I do have a better descriptive slide to show you after this as well, but you'll see here that that's how you do it. Now let me find that slide so I can talk a little bit more about it. Okay, so in that footer section, there's a bit of code that you want to put in right here. And basically, I have color-coded this HTML code just to help you along to decipher just what I'm talking about. So basically, everything you see in teal signifies code that you just need to let be. I'm talking about that A serif and the closed A, stuff like that. Just that's basically the backbone. Everything that is green is something that you need to change. So that would mean where you are linking to. This would be like where you are linking to or what you want the words to say. You can actually decide, you know how I had made like 2 lines. You can decide to do what's called a line break. You can now choose to break these up. Or let me back up. You can choose to break up these different words by using a divider. If you want to drop down lines, you can do so by creating what's called a line break, return, or line drop. This is just signified by the orange BR that you see there in the middle. Every time that you wish to do a new line or a line break, you will need to input that BR right there. So that's basically how you do that. Actually, I'll probably put that up there in case some of you guys are probably still writing that down. I'll just leave that there for about 15 more seconds. All right, you guys. Well, that's basically it for my Splash Intro Page webinar. By now, you should be able to get a good start to how to build your Splash Intro Page and basically know what it's all about. Now we've reached the Q&A section for this webinar. If you guys have any questions, please go ahead and do so by typing it in the question box. And I would be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. So Patty asked, is this webinar or slideshow going to be put up on YouTube? Yes, Patty, this is going to be put up on YouTube in about 2 to 3 business days. Diane asks, how many interlinks can we have? There's not a minimum or a maximum, but I would say keep it anywhere from 2 to 3. Natasha asks, where would I upload a video to the Splash Intro page? So that's a very good question. You would actually put that into the footer section where HTML coding is allowed. Major places like YouTube and Vimeo actually are able to give you the embedded script for embedding videos. You can do that by clicking on the share button on the appropriate website and, of course, pasting it into the footer section. Delane asks, can we access this description again or replay it? Yes, of course we're going to put this back on YouTube in 2 to 3 business days, but we will also make a PDF for this and provide that to you probably on the blog that's to follow. So Claire asks, how can we use like a Facebook logo on your Facebook link? This sounds like you're wanting to put some social media icons on your Splash Intro page. I would say go ahead and give our support team a call because this is a little bit more into depth than what I was talking about today. That number is 866-463 7620. All right, you guys. Well, I just wanted to thank you guys for all those questions, and I'm going to hand it back over to Joanne, and she's going to wrap it up. Thank you, guys.
Well, thank you for the great presentation, Kristi, and thank you everyone for your questions and for taking the time to spend with us today. A recording of today's webinar will be posted on the PhotoBiz YouTube channel at youtube.com/photobiz. We will also make a PDF available of the slides so that you'll have access to all of this information and for all the slides. Also, be sure to check our blog and watch your email for updates about future webinars. We'll have 2 webinars next week, and those will be Pricing for Profit on Tuesday, September 10th at 2 p.m. Eastern, and that'll be with Blair Phillips. We'll also have SEO Where to Start on Thursday, September 12th at 2 p.m., and that's with Andy. Thanks again, Kristi, and thank you everybody for attending. That concludes this episode of PhotoBiz Live. Have a great day, everyone.